Now we're going to learn one of the most basic piping techniques, which is a dot. The dot is so versatile. You can use it for piping borders, tiny little Swiss dots, and you can even use the larger tips for piping big, fluffy cloud decorations. To pipe dots, you need round tips. We'll be using the 3, the 5, the 12, and the 2A, which is a significantly larger round tip. We'll be using medium consistency icing, which is easier to control, and it'll make a nice, smooth dot. First, I'm going to show you how to pipe a little dot with a tip 3, and then I'm going to switch it out for a tip 12 so you can see a little bit larger dot. I'm going to be holding the bag straight up and down, slightly above the surface. So I'm on the surface just a little bit above, just to give the dot some space to build up. I'm going to squeeze, and as the icing builds, I'm lifting the tip with it, but not away from it. Stop squeezing and pull up just a little bit. And we're going to make a circular motion with the end of the tip to remove the point. A pull-out dot creates a peak instead of a perfectly round dot. To create a pull-out dot, form the dot and then continue squeezing and pull up and away. Decrease the pressure as you reach the length that you'd like the pull-out dot to be. The pull-out dot looks great when you're piping really fluffy icings or making meringue kisses. So now I'm going to quickly change out my tip 3 for a tip 12 because I want to show you how to make a bigger dot. Again, I'm going to raise the tip, keeping it buried in the icing. I'm going to stop squeezing, pull away slightly, then scrape off the point using a circular motion. Sometimes you'll get little peaks on the top of your dot. You can dab your finger in some confectioner sugar or cornstarch and pat those peaks very lightly with your finger. Also, the harder you squeeze, the bigger the dot. So even with one tip, you can get lots of different sizes. So now we're going to do some pull-out dots with the tip number 12. I just love the pretty peaks, pretty soft peaks that this forms. This is so much easier because you're just forming the dot and pulling away. So easy to do. You just saw me make dots using the 3 and the 12 tip, so you know how that looks like in action. But I also want to show you the tip 5 and the tip 2A. So I'm just going to give you a little comparison here. This is the 3, and you can see the pull out and the round dot. This is just a little bit bigger. It's the tip 5, the pull out and the round dot. You saw me make the tip 12 already, but just a side-by-side comparison, the pull out and the round. And this is the really big dot, that's tip 2A. And you can see how that makes a really fluffy meringue kiss type dot. So these are just a few of the round tips that you could try. I encourage you to experiment with other round tips for different looks and sizes. These cute little pom-pom cupcakes were made using the tips that I showed you today. The larger is the 2A, the blue one is the 12, the little green is a 5, and the tiny little yellow is your tip 3. And so that's how you pipe dots. You want to make sure you try classic and pull-out dots and then experiment with tips for different looks and sizes.